for Mechacha obi biara eye nimde news ena waso egu awutie yen semre no yemonwa ensem ni mu na ensem abeka yensa yefama for
to asylum down na yakofa NPP one press conference no
of January 2025. The first thing we heard was the mass dismissal of the youth who have been employed in state-owned enterprises and in the public sector. People who have been employed for over 7 years, 6 years, were suddenly asked to go home. Some go into their offices and they are sacked. Nurses who were recruited last year have been made to go home. Teachers who were recruited and posted have been sacked. That is the state of the NDC government for you. Instead of creating employment opportunities, they are rather creating more unemployment. Now, even with some of these institutions, they now replace some institutional heads with their party faithfuls as part of their resetting agenda. Now let's come to the issue of Galamsey. Somewhere 2014, the then Minister of Finance, Honorable Setepe, appeared before Parliament and lamented on the state of the cocoa production in our country. Among the key issues he addressed Parliament on through its Finance Committee was issue of Galamsey. Of course, NPP came into office and made attempt to address this issue. I must admit we were not successful. The NDC used it as a campaign tool. Today, what do we see? According to organized labor, this is not from NPP. According to organized labor, the Galamsey situation has worsened. And they have now even institutionalized Galamsey by enacting what they call a gold board. What is the essence of gold board? They claim that the gold board is now going to buy equipment for small-scale miners. But you and I know that their intent is not to support any small-scale miner. Their intent is to support Galamseyers. That's exactly what they are doing. And they are saying they're monopolizing the purchase of gold and to regulate it and all. What are they trying to do? Let's go to our military. Our military, Ghana Armed Forces, they've been kept out of politics. From President Kufuor's time all the way to Nanado, whom they have so much criticized. Those heads in our military, the generals, were allowed to stay in office when NPP assumed office. Some served for over a year until they themselves retired. But what are we seeing today? There's a complete wipeout at the highest level of the military. They first decided to clear those senior officers, the generals. The CDS, the army commander, and other service chiefs were cleared. Then they added some 15 more. And upon assumption of office, the new CDS now is forcing 2-star generals to all retire. Wow. So again, what they are doing is to make our military, our Ghana Armed Forces, also partisan. When they were in opposition, they complained about taxes that the Ghanaian businessman is suffering. What we see today, apart from the e-levy, all taxes, including levies that we pay at our ports remain same. They have not changed anything.
Hey, Mahama.
I'm hereby exposing to you the hypocrisy of the NDC.
Yes.
VAT has not changed. In fact, for the mining companies, they have even increased the taxes, and they say because they are making profit, they have to increase it over and above what they came to meet. Now, ask yourself again about our utility, electricity tariffs. Now, we are paying more. We are paying more than they came to meet. And even so, Tumso is back. Their other card they are playing is the persecution of NPP appointees. So, to create the impression that they are all righteous, to create the impression that the situation was bad and there was corruption, they targeted former appointees. I want to assure them that we will never surrender.
Yes.
They can never use this to cow us into self-preservation, to crush the NPP spirit. To enable them achieve this, they now want to control our courts. So what are we seeing? The attempt to sack the Chief Justice. I, on behalf of the Minority Caucus, hereby say that what we're witnessing today under John Mahama-led government is a systematic and calculated assault on the independence of the judiciary. An institution that we all know is the last line of defense for the rule of law, the protection of rights, and the survival of our democratic republic. Today, what we see is intimidation, political interference, and open targeting of judges who are perceived as inconvenient and non-compliant. It is not just unacceptable, it is repugnant to good conscience. The current attacks on the Chief Justice and the broader attempt to politicize the bench must be seen for what they are. And here, our Council of State failed our democracy. They rehearsed the suspension of the Chief Justice. They got a fake research done, threw it into the air, that majority of Ghanaians want the Chief Justice sacked. Before even the Council of State received the so-called petitions, the NDC papers were all over in town saying that the Chief Justice was going to be suspended. Clearly, they had rehearsed the agenda. And if you look at the petitions, for all that I've read, I find it very unfortunate. In this country, we know that when the president, the first lady travel, the cost is borne by the states. Same with the Speaker of Parliament. He and his immediate family going on official trip. Why will the official travel of the Chief Justice, which is backed by a judiciary policy, now become a subject matter of a kangaroo investigation? And they claim that she caused financial loss to the state, etc., etc. But I have something to tell our respected judges. Some of them, I am aware, we are aware, that are being promised by the NDC government. Today, it is Torkonoo, tomorrow, it may be them. They should listen and listen well. I want all judges in the country to know that their institution is under attack.
Yes. Yes. Tell them.
The NDC government is approaching you, the judges, telling you that, oh, Torkonoo does not have a good interpersonal relationship. She is snobbish, she is this, she is that. But I want you to know that if they allow them to use you today, tomorrow they will come after you. Act collective. It is your institution which is under attack. Our demonstration on Monday is not about our party or parties. It's about protecting the institutional integrity of our republic. It's about drawing a line in defense of the Constitution, and it's about telling those in power, you may have your term, but you do not own the state. The framers of our Constitution understood that democracy without an independent judiciary is no democracy at all. That is why we are gathering on Monday, 5th of May, to say enough is enough. To say that the people of Ghana will not sit idly by while their courts are captured. To say that the power may change hands, but the Constitution must always stand. And to the people of Ghana, our fellow countrymen and women, we invite you to join us. This is not just about the few political parties determining to go on the streets. Of course, we are going on a peaceful demonstration. This is not Parliament's fight. It is a fight for every citizen who wants to live in a country where the law is supreme and no man, no matter how powerful, is above the law. We say that there must be an end to the division and the anger of the past. This government must tread with the greatest caution, always keeping tomorrow in mind when taking decisions today, because these decisions may shape future governance. If we continue down this path, we risk creating a culture of retaliatory politics, where successive governments are more focused on settling political scores than solving problems. Last but not the least, it is obvious that the bold attempt by Mr. President to nominate out of the blue 7 judges to the Supreme Court is a first major attempt at all that they have rehearsed, a 3rd term agenda. All that the NDC is doing, all that our president is doing through the advice of the hawks of NDC is to set a 3rd term agenda for his leadership. They think that by packing the judiciary, there will be a smooth road for that 3rd term agenda. Were we not in this country where even 2 Supreme Court nominees, after going through vetting and were supposed to take their approval at the plenary, the same NDC said by adding 2 more judges to the Supreme Court bench, Nana was packing the courts? Was it not the same NDC where that criticized the proposal to even nominate for appointment 5 more judges to the Supreme Court, and as a result no further step was taken by the Judicial Council? What has changed? We leave it to the good conscience of they themselves. Over the past few weeks, President John Dramani Mahama and the NDC government have intensified their relentless crusade against the independence of Ghana's judiciary. An assault that has now culminated into a dangerous and unconstitutional move. The suspension and planned removal of Chief Justice of the Republic, Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Iraba Isaba Saki Torkonoo, by none other than Mr. Mahama himself. The NPP profoundly disapproves and vehemently condemns this blatant disregard for constitutional order, judicial sanctity, and democratic norms. This action taken under the pretext of Article 146 of the 1982 Constitution constitutes a grave threat to judicial independence, a reckless abuse of executive discretion, and an affront to the rule of law.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, we consider this suspension not only unconstitutional, but procedurally flawed, but also politically motivated and executed with alarming disregard for the sanctity of due process. Additionally, Article 146 clearly stipulates that the President has no direct authority to suspend or remove the sitting justice of the Superior Court, including